Hello, welcome to Web of Stories. My name is Melinda. I am here with my weekly wrap-up, and it's going to be a short one because, once again, I have only finished one book. But there's reasons for that this time. We'll get to that. Anyhow, I hope you all had a great week. Mine was busy as usual. The highlight, I like how Mariandra always says highlights and lowlights. Lows, highs and lows. My high was yesterday. My daughter and I, and Bookish best friend, and Bookish best friend's friend, went to, because we're friends visiting, husband's making lunch. We went to downtown Portland, to Portland Center Stage, to see a production of Little Women. My bulletin's right there. Hold on. All right, I'm back. I wanted to get this because this is, I believe, a new production. I like a new adaptation, a new play of Little Women, and it's written or it's adapted by Lauren M. Gunderson. I gotta say that it's not a musical. Last adaptation of Little Women we saw was a musical. This one's not a musical. This one I really enjoyed. It's very different, or it's definitely a fresh take, but very true to the spirit of Little Women. And it involves the actress who plays Jo also plays Louise May Alcott. So it's a little bit like, this is her family, and then this is what happened in Little Women, and this is why she did what she did, which I thought was really interesting. The other thing that I thought was really interesting in doing that with Louise May Alcott, and they didn't come out and say this, but they definitely sort of acknowledge this, is there are some scholars, I don't think this is a widely held view, I don't know, I'm not an Alcott scholar, but I have read articles from some scholars who believe that Louise May Alcott identified as male, and that was somewhat acknowledged. I mean, they didn't come out and say that, but it was pretty clear from Louise May Alcott, the character, Louise May Alcott does say, I don't know about girls, I'm not even a girl. I'm a boy inside. I thought that was really interesting. But it was a really great production. It has been produced also in Cincinnati. So I think it's only been produced in Portland and Cincinnati so far. And I think a lot of the cast that we saw actually was in the Cincinnati production, because I'm looking through their bios. A lot of them are from Cincinnati. Not all of them, but a lot of them were. But if you ever get a chance to see the Lauren M. Gunderson Little Women, highly, highly recommend it. It was very fun. Usually after a Portland Center Stage show, we go to Powell's. We didn't not go to Powell's. We went to Powell's, but only to cut through, because it's a shortcut to cut through Powell's to get back to the train station. We didn't shop in Powell's. It wasn't as crowded as I thought it would be, but generally I avoid Powell's in December because I don't like crowds. I think if I hadn't had my daughter with me, I might have squeezed in either before or after a visit to Grand Gesture, but I just didn't happen that way. But we had a good time. I asked my daughter if she enjoyed this production or the musical, which we saw was a high school production. Although when she was younger, she actually did see a regional production of the musical. Which one she preferred. She preferred this. Now, I don't know. I think part of that is because the audience in the high school production we saw was really annoying. I think I shared this before. So the student council was at that performance we were at, and they were just obnoxious. They were cheering really loudly, because I think that's what they were supposed to do, was cheer and get the audience going, which they really didn't need to do. And, but there were two, the character who played Meg and the character who played Brooke, they're dating in real life. So when they kissed, it was like, woo, which was really annoying. But then I also realized pretty early on that none of them knew the story of Little Women. So they didn't know what was going to happen in Act 2. So that was a surprise to them, which was kind of entertaining from my point of view. But I will say with this one, I did cry, but not in the part that I normally cry in, which is that thing that happens. It was at the end because it was just so beautiful. But anyway, really, really enjoyed that. Now, as for reading this week, I have been getting back into my groove with reading, which is good. I'm unslumpifying, but I have a number of things going. I thought I had started a buddy read with Bookish Best Friend of 11/22/63, and I apologized to her yesterday because I haven't gotten very far, and she's like, I haven't started it yet. So don't feel guilty about that anymore. I'm only 6% in, I think, so far, just because I have other things that are going on, including what I'm going to be talking about. I did pick up I can't remember. Was that last month? I think it was last month's haul. The collection of short stories by Daphnie DuMaurier. I went ahead and I read The Birds on December 3rd, which is the day it takes place, which was really good. I've actually never seen the movie The Birds. I just know it's about birds that attack. But I really liked that story. And then I started at the beginning, and Daphnie DuMaurier was twisted. These are weird stories, but I like dark and twisty and weird. So it's actually really working for me. The only Daphnie DuMaurier I have read previous to this is Rebecca, which I think I read in middle school, which I think is too young to be reading Rebecca. Not because really subject matter. Dude, I read Lady Chatterley's Lover in middle school. So not a subject matter thing, but I think just like appreciating what's going on in the book. That's too young. So I'm thinking I might go back and reread Rebecca, but I also want to read her other books. I've heard My Cousin Rachel is actually her best one, or a lot of people think that's her best one. So I definitely want to read that in 2026. So, add that if anyone wants to buddy read, we'll figure that out. But yeah, so I've been doing that. I'm back into reading the Brontës. I have to finish that Brontë biography. It's like this big by the end of the year because I don't like to carry books over. I actually NRN'd a book, my essay collection, not right now it, because I realized I wasn't going to finish it. I'm like, I'm just going to NRN it right now and then start it again in 2026. But the Brontë biography, it's good because now we're in the part where the first 3 books, Jane Eyre, Wuthering Heights, Agnes Grey, have been published. Anne is working on The Tenant of Wildfell Hall. Charlotte is working on Shirley. I don't know what the hell Emily's doing. She might have been working. I guess she was working on a second draft, but apparently Charlotte, I don't know. Emily is Emily. But I'm in that part. Branwell is still with them, but the end is near. I'm really enjoying it. I will say I don't think I would like Charlotte Brontë as a person. I don't think I would. She's not very nice to her sisters or to anybody else, but she also wants to be liked, so there's that. Whereas Emily is not nice to anybody, but she doesn't care. Like, I don't want anything to do with people, which I respect. Anne is the best. Of course, Anne is the best. My major criticism of this book so far actually is that it is very Charlotte and Branwell centered, which I guess the argument for that is, we have a lot about Charlotte. She lived the longest of them all. Branwell, I don't know why Branwell, they have so much on Branwell. But I would have liked I would appreciate a little more on Emily and Anne in that, like get them all. Because especially Anne, who's like totally left out of everything. And I think she's the best Brontë. And that's a hill I will die on. But anyway, so let me get to the book that I did finish this week. And this was actually a reread. So today, like this afternoon, like very soon. What time is it? Okay, in like 10, 20 minutes, I have to leave and go to the library because I am meeting people from my church. We are starting a church book group. And I'm sort of spearheading it because I like book clubs. And this is the book that I chose, and it is a reread. It is In the Bleak Midwinter by Juliet Spencer-Fleming. So I chose this for 2 reasons. Well, I chose it for 3 reasons. If you aren't familiar with the Claire Ferguson, Russ Van Alstyne series, the most recent book just came out, by the way. This is based around a small town, upstate New York cop who's Russ Van Alstyne and an Episcopal priest. And we're Episcopalians, so I thought that would be fun. Also, all of the titles in this book are hymns in the Episcopal hymn, and they're very tied to like the liturgical seasons. And we're in Advent, and this is an Advent story. So I thought, oh, that would be cool. Also, this is where I was a little bit wrong in a good way. I felt that because this is our first meeting and we're still figuring out how to do things, I thought, well, I'm going to get a book that doesn't have that much to discuss in it because it's just a mystery. Just a mystery, famous last words. I reread this book and I'm like, okay, there's actually a lot we as a church book group can discuss because she does talk a lot. Juliet Spencer-Fleming herself is an Episcopalian. She talks a lot about prayer and confession and all these things, the sort of things that our book group is going to be talking about. Fun thing was, I realized very early on in this book that I forgot the ending. Like, I forgot how this ended. And so once I realized that, it was like a whole new book to me. Like, it was like the first time I'd read this book. So I really did enjoy this. I gave it 4 stars. I did go back when I first read this in 2021. I gave it 3.75. which is probably fair. I mean, if I were doing quarter stars, I would probably still give it that. That sounds fair. I'm looking forward to discussing it with my book group, and we'll see how that goes. I have a stack of books over there of books I might suggest for future books, but we'll see how that goes. I know a number of people are looking forward to this, so like, yay. But yeah, I finished that. So the books I'm currently reading, I'll quickly go through them. I already talked about the Daphnie DuMaurier and the Brontës. 11/22/63, I am still reading The Black Wolf. I am determined to finish The Black Wolf today or tomorrow because I have been reading it too damn long. I've had too many other things going and I'm enjoying it. There's nothing wrong with the book. It's not because the book's not holding me. Well, I will say, like, I have read books in that series where I started and could not put down, very much like the Cork O'Connor books. Clearly that was not an issue. That did not happen with this book since I've been reading it for over a month now, but I'm still really enjoying it. It's much more in Three Pines, which I like. The book, The Grey Wolf, that came before it, and these are kind of a duology within the series, was a lot out of Three Pines, and I don't like it when they're not in Three Pines very much because I actually like the people of Three Pines and that world. That's what I really like in that series. So I'm really enjoying that. What else? I still have Gothic Tales because I haven't gotten to that next story. Maybe I will do that tonight. I don't know. I'm reading my romance novel, which I'm probably going to finish ahead of time because I am actually enjoying it. Then I don't know if I'm going to try and squeeze in another bedtime romance before the end of the year or not. We'll see. We'll see. Is that all? Let me pull up make sure I covered everything that I said I was going to read. So I finally have see more. Okay. Oh, I am listening to, this is the book I forgot. I am listening to on audio, clearly, because I'm listening to it. The Four Queens of Crime by Roxanne Limoncelli, which is a cozy-ish mystery. There is like a cop, it's a female cop, and maybe there's two female cops, or maybe it's female male. I don't know. But murder happens at a country house, as always happens, but it happened at a party. And at this party happened to be Agatha Christie, Dorothy L. Sayre, Now Marsh, and Marjorie Allingham. So they're kind of there too. It's fine. It's nothing to really write home about so far. I do have a pet peeve in it, which is kind of annoying, and that is the third person omniscient is a little too omniscient. Like, you keep getting into other people's heads, like in the same section, and I'm like, who's thinking this? We were just in Agatha Christie's head and now we're in Now Marsh's head, and I'm really confused over who's thinking this. So that's kind of like a thing with me, but I it's fine for what it is. It's nice and kind of light. And so yeah, that's what I'm listening to. That's my week. This week I think might actually be a little calmer. We'll see. I say that every week and then it isn't. Our tree is finally decorated, but our living room is covered in detritus from like all the stuff that was packed in, because my kids will do the decorating and then leave the mess. So I'm leaving my husband to deal with that. I need to do some more Christmas baking. I did Christmas cookies already for the Advent festival that we had last week at my church, and we did have a number of cookies left over, but we had gingerbread cookies, which are really good dunked in coffee, so they're gone. And I made sour cream sugar cookies, which are really fun to decorate, which my kids love to decorate. I mean, like they decorate a cookie and then they eat it. So those are gone too. So I need to remake those. I'm going to try and maybe wait a little closer to Christmas so that we actually have Christmas cookies on Christmas. I don't know. Anyhow, that's what's going on in my life. Let me know what you're reading. If you want to play the emoji game, you don't have to. You can leave me a snowflake or a snowman or something like that, because we're in the bleak midwinter. Actually, we're not technically in winter, but that's the name of the bleak midwinter. There you go. Short update this week. So like, subscribe, join my Discord, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.